Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you didn't know, now you know. And today we're going to talk about full cover nail tips and C-curve nail beds. If you're anything like me and you've got a strong C-curve, then you know full cover nail tips are made for flat nails and they don't like to go all the way down to meet your sides. But I've done the work and I have bought many a full cover nail tip, and I have found a few that are perfect for C-curve nail beds, and I'm going to show them to you. So let's start with Apree. So Apree was the original, as far as I know, to start making not only natural but sculpted shape nail tips. These are the ones that I have. These are really expensive. So if you can catch them on sale, highly recommend. I don't even have the clear ones. I've got this color, but let's have a look at it. So here is the free edge. You can see it's got a nice curve, but the important part is back here. So like, look at the apex shape. When you look at it from the side, check the apex as well. You can see that these are more designed to fit over a curve. So if your nails curve this way, they work. If your nails curve this way, they work. If you're lucky, you can even fit some product in here and do the lazy girl method, which would never happen with a natural one. Now these are very sturdy. They're a thick material. Trying to squeeze the free edge is hard, but back here, it's more flexible. Full cover tips are designed to get thinner at the back so that when you put them on, they're more seamless. Now this one obviously is not my size, but I just wanted to show you. This is how the largest size compares to mine. So it's a little bit big, but typically for me, I usually do use one of the largest sizes. So I would say if you have extra large nail beds, these might not work, but if you're just on the regular large, they'll probably be just fine. They do, of course, come in different shapes and lengths. All of these do, but the sculpted Apree full cover tips work perfectly for C-curve nails. Let's do an example. So this one is more closely related to this size, so that'll be good. So where you're really gonna notice is when you turn it over and you look right here. So as you can see, my nail fills up this whole thing. There is not a gap at the top. If I had a flatter nail bed, there would be a gap at the top, which is fine. You can use sculpted tips on flat nail beds, but the problem is when you use a flat tip on a sculpted bed, you'll have gaps here on the side. You can see that this goes all the way down. And when you look at it this way, you can see that it's not sticking out extra wide. That's an issue with the flat ones, is to get it to go all the way down, you have to pick one that is so wide, there's overhang. And so then you have to do like this pinch and roll method, which I've talked about. But these fit all the way around my curve in each direction, and it looks great. So highly recommend if you're into high-end nail tips. On the other end of the spectrum, we have these Saviland nail tips. Now, you have to be very specific with these. There's two different shape boxes. So this is the wide flat box. It is not gonna say anywhere on here that this is the sculpted one. You just have to know. If you get the long skinny box, they are not the sculpted one, but these wide flat ones are. They come in, I think, medium and long length, and they come in stiletto / almond, and then coffins and squares. So you have all your typical shapes. You can also see by the picture that this is more of an arch. Sometimes the pictures are misleading because they take it with it at an angle, so you can't really tell. But these are actually my absolute favorite budget nail tips for C-curved nails. Let's look at them. So like the last one I showed you was a long length. This is a medium, and these I do only have in clear, but you can see how high that arch is there. When you look at the front, this one has more of a flatter free edge. So if you're in the more flatter look, these might be up your alley. They're not super C-curvy up front. The back though, when you look at that, you can see that that arch is there. When you squeeze the front, these are still sturdy, but they are much more flexible than the other ones. So if you are rough with your hands, you're probably going to want to put a product on top of these to increase the structural integrity. These would be prone to breaking if you were to bang them pretty hard. Now the back end though, at the same time, is much more flexible than the previous ones that I showed you. So these are going to be more easy to fit around your nail bed. So let's say if you have a stronger curve in the back, these will still fit around it. Or if it's more flatter at the very back, these will still fit around it, because when you push down, that's going to flex. Let's look at it. So this is the largest size. This one, you can tell it is a little bit large for me. You can see there's this edge here where it's overhanging. So like the other one, if you have quite large nail beds, this may not work. But if you just have a little bit large, they might. These do run in your typical standard sizes though. But like the last one, let's have a look on this finger. So as you can see, it goes all the way down without hanging over. And when you check it from the side, you can see that it goes all the way down. Now the cuticle on this one is a little bit thick, I would say. So I like to thin them out with a hand file. So like you can just hold it and then just file around that to make it thinner. That way it slips up under your cuticle, and that's what I typically do. But let's look at it from this angle, and that's where again you're gonna see it the most notably. You can see that this does follow my natural nail shape really well, and that the edges come all the way down, which is important, and there's not a gap on the sides because this tip is contoured and it's not too flat, so it's not flaring. So if you are interested in more affordable nail tips, you don't need the super expensive ones. These are a really excellent option for C-curve nail beds. Now here I actually have 3 to show you, but they're all the same brand, which is ENail Couture. ENail Couture is my very favorite above all. More than the expensive, more than the affordable. These are in the upper medium price, but there are sales so often, and I even have a 25% off code for these that works anytime on anything. That is in the description. They have so many lengths, so many sizes, so many shapes. I always recommend ENail Couture full cover tips because they are fantastic. They make natural and sculpted. They call them sculpture. But let me show you a couple of my favorites. So this shape, let me just zoom it right back in. This shape is the pipe, is what they call it on the website, but it's a Russian almond. I love all the Russian shapes. The edge I consider to be a Russian stiletto. It's very much like the Russian almond except pointy. And then the box, it's flat across the end and square, flat, square. And I consider that like the Russian coffin. They're amazing. But this is not distinct from sculpted to flat. So these typically do lean towards more of the natural shape. However, the sizes they make are large enough that you can still use them. And so this brings me back to even talking about the pinch and roll. So like you can see, this is the largest one. And so it is too wide for my nail. But if we size down just one size to where it fits this direction, you'll notice there's gaps now because these are not made for contoured nails. So I take a size up, pinch, and then do this like back and forth rolling motion, and it'll make it start to curve in here at the back. So this is what I call the pinch and roll. So that when you then put this on, it now will come all the way down and fit. So it just takes more customization, but I love these nails and I wanted to show you. We have another one. This is the next one that I wanted to show you as well. This one also does not come in a either sculpted or natural. It's only the shape that it is, but it happens to be a sculpted shape. You can see the arch on this is quite high. One of my favorite things about it though is the free edge. I really wish there were more like extremely pinched free edge nails. I know that right now the flatter end is more popular, but I just think these are so beautiful. Decorating them can be a little bit weird down here because it pretty much goes straight down. But if you just do paint, they are stunning. This is the largest size. You can see that it is a little bit large for me. But if I size down, the jump is too much, and so this one does not fit. It does go all the way down when I do it over here, and in fact I could probably even lift it up. So this one actually would be really good for using a product underneath, whether you're using a solid glue or a lazy girl method. And to deal with the wideness, I pinch this one just a little bit because the size down is just too small. I don't know why the leap between the two largest ones on these is particular, but like when you put this on here, you can see there's still space above my nail. So these are really good for adding additional product underneath, and they also have this amazing free edge. Now to look at the black labels. So these are the sculptured stilettos in large. Of course, they have them in multiple lengths. With black labels, they typically run into larger sizes, so you will notice that the nail bed on this one is actually quite large. Like the gap from the side of my nail over here is bigger than those other ones, so if you do have larger nail beds, these are great for that. If we look at it from this angle, you can see it does have the arch this way, and then when we look at it this way, it has the arch this way. So let's grab one of these. You can see that it does go all the way down without overhanging. When I turn it this way, you can see that it goes all the way down. And then when we look at it from underneath, you can see that it goes all the way down and we don't have a bunch of space. So unlike the last one we looked at, this one isn't necessarily as good for putting a bunch of extra product underneath, but depending on how much space you're able to get in there, you might be able to. I would mostly be able to put a little bit at the very end, but back here, it's pretty much completely down. I do like to use a thicker glue when putting them on, but not a solid glue. And these also are stronger in structure than the Saviland ones, but they do have a bit of a thick cuticle bit, so I do tend to file those down with the hand file as well. So when it comes to C-curve nail beds and full cover tips, these are my top 3. Sure, there are other tips out there that can work, but these are the best ones I have found in the 3 different price ranges. So if you've been having trouble finding C-curve nail tips that work for you, definitely give these a try. In order of my favorite, because of not only price, but because of shape, I'm gonna say Apree is my 3rd favorite, Saviland is my 2nd favorite, and ENail Couture is my 1st ultimate all-time favorite, and I wear all of the shapes in the sculptured style and in multiple lengths because I like to switch it up. I hope this is helpful if you've been on a journey of finding nail tips, because I sure have. I have experimented with so many, but I'm glad that I found these so I don't have to keep just buying nail tip after nail tip after nail tip. So that's the part about the nail tips themselves, which is really the point of this video, but stay tuned if you want to see application, because my hands are naked. I've got to put on some nails, and it's going to be the ENail Couture ones. So let's get over to that. Okay, so let me show you how I thin the edges. So I'm going to take this hand file, and I'm going to take the nail tip that I've already picked out that fits. I hold it like this so I can brace it, and then I take one of these that's pretty worn down and take the less rough side, and then I just go around the edges like this, and so it creates this perimeter here where it starts to thin. You'll want to make just a few passes doing this. If you do too much, it'll thin it out too much, and then it'll start to like break up. But if you just do a few times, then it just gets really, really flush so that when you do put it on, it can just slide up in here seamlessly. And so I'm going to do that to all of them, and then we're going to put them on. Well, guess who just had a whole conversation and applied a whole hand of nails, and it was not recording, so you missed all of it, plus all of the struggles. This one had some leak out, so I have to go on these sides a little bit and clean that up. I'm also gonna have to wash my hands because they're sticky, because a couple of these nails we had to try the glue twice. So you also are gonna need to go around your edges and just crispen those up, get the little tabby things off of the end, because that plastic will be there. At this time, if you don't like the length, you can shorten it. I like to kind of go like this as well, just to make sure that those are straight up and down as well as just underneath, because there's a bit of an arch. And so I just do that to all of them. Just a couple swipes is enough. You don't want to start filing it away. Sometimes you gotta turn it weird to be able to see what you're doing. Try and get your edges as straight as possible. When you believe they're straight, turn them around. Look at it from this way. Make sure it actually is. All right, let's examine the straightness. Let me do like this, we can see it. I think that all of their ends look straight. Well, this guy, yeah. And then I like to take a buffer and just buff over the entire surface. You don't have to, but I feel like this is good for getting any rough textures off. Sometimes when you file, it causes the plastic to like roll up. And so going over it will get all those little bits to come off of there. And then I use a stiff dusting brush at the end just to get off the dust that we've created. Definitely do the underside. I do like a back and forth scrubbing motion. And that's it. Now we have us a full hand of long C-curve nail extensions. And when you look underneath, you can see that they completely fill it up. I think these look great. What do you think? But that's it for this video. I hope that you have found the information contained useful, and that if you have been having struggles finding nail tips that work for you, you can try these and that they will work for you. Definitely make sure that you are subscribed to my channel so you're not missing these types of videos. Sometimes they're entertaining, sometimes they're informational. Hopefully they're always fun. If you're interested in becoming a member, check out the perks for each level below. And if that's something that you would like to participate in, please do join. I appreciate you, and I hope to see you at my members only content. Definitely make sure that you are following my socials as well. Sometimes I post things over there that I don't always post over here. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. The algorithm thanks you, and so do I. That's it though. Thank you again. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.